Hey y'all, it's Monday morning, June 15th, and we welcome you to another edition of This Week at AMG. Thank you for joining us today. And we are excited because we can share with you about some very special people. And those people are our leaders in several of our Asian fields and also in Africa, in Uganda, Africa. We recently had a conference for our leadership teams for several Asian countries and Uganda, and we were able to meet with people whom God has called, who are very gifted, who are very passionate about showing His love, and who have been used for years to make a difference in thousands of lives in countries like Indonesia, India, Thailand, the Philippines, and Uganda. The purpose of those meetings was to do some training, to do some leadership training with them, and we had a couple of people from our office travel to the Philippines to participate in that training. One of these individuals is Bill Passons, who heads our international ministries efforts here in the office, and he's going to share with us about his perspective about these leadership meetings in Asia.
Thank you, Tasos. This week, as you watch this video, I'll be traveling throughout Asia, visiting many of our partners and participating in several board meetings. So I definitely appreciate your prayers as I do that. But I would definitely like to talk about our leadership meetings that we had last April. As Tasos mentioned, we got to invite many of our leaders from Asia and Uganda to participate in leadership training. It was our pleasure to focus on key elements for leadership development. First of all, just the servant leadership. What does it look like to first be a follower of Christ and to serve and to lead as a servant? Second of all, we focused on leadership development. How are we developing a culture in our organization to develop leaders throughout the organization? And then thirdly, we focused on succession planning. This allows us to identify key positions that will need to be filled now in the future and make sure that we're constantly developing people for the purpose of filling those positions. And then another area we focused on was board development. How can we help our boards to be engaged, full of competent people that are leading well for our ministries? And then we also talked about partner development. How can we engage others in partnering with us in what God has called us to do? So it was a pleasure just to be there. It was a pleasure to develop these conversations and to start these conversations and to talk about how we, as AMG International, can help facilitate these things happening amongst our field partners. This morning with me, I have Ruben Musiime. He's the director of AMG Uganda. And he's going to talk a little bit about some of his most important needs, and you'll see how they relate to the leadership development that we've been doing. So, Reuben?
Thank you, Bill, for enlightening on leadership, especially in our third world countries. We appreciate AMG for its emphasis on developing national leaders. And as national leaders, the greatest need that we need is prayer. Because when we are outside there, we need the Lord's strength. And the closer we stay with the Lord guiding us, the Lord leading us, it makes the difference. So the greatest need is not a paycheck, but prayer that will encourage us to continue serving and empowering others in the ministry. Even as we are down there in the field, there is a challenge of leadership. Organizations or ministry organizations cannot take an active part in reaching others outside there in the field without leaders who are competent and are able to lead others. A leader comes to the front line, and then as he goes to the front line, he gets others to follow him up. And as they follow, the leader has to be competent. What does he need to do? How to organize others in the field? How to develop others? The ministry is not done by one person. The ministry is to engage others. If we take the role of Jesus Christ, he engaged the 12 disciples, but eventually they reached the whole world. Even as we develop leaders there, we need the capacity of others to instill values, to instill knowledge, to instill ministerial skills, to make sure that they are able to do the work as far as the ministry is concerned, so that in the end, we see what Timothy and Paul said, we'll be able to have leaders who are competent for every good work of the ministry.
As you can see from Reuben's testimony there, it's very important that we focus on developing leaders throughout our organization. As we invest in the leaders that God has given us and then they turn around and invest in others, we are able to grow sustainable ministries that can carry the gospel to the ends of this world.
National leaders are the key to AMG's ministry around the world. We couldn't do what the Lord has called us to do without these truly faithful servants of Christ who have unique skills and abilities. They know their countries, they know their culture, the language, and God continues to use them to make a difference in those environments. We are truly grateful for them. Many of them are facing challenging environments, and it is not an easy task. So we ask for your prayers for these national workers. We ask that you will ask the Lord to protect them, to give them wisdom with the daily challenges and decisions that need to be made in their ministries, and also for more sponsors who are greatly needed. There are many national workers. There is a plentiful harvest, but in order to reap that harvest, we need the support of individuals like you. If you would like to know more about AMG's National Worker Ministry, please visit our website at www.amginternational.org or give us a call, and you can find out how you can take a part in making it possible to show God's love through the ministry of national workers. Well, that's it for this week, and we hope to see you next week at This Week at AMG.